Hello guys and welcome back to another video here on Reading FC Away Days. My name is James and today we're going to go ahead and sit down and talk to you guys about where it has gone wrong for Reading this season. Now my laptop is below me just under the camera, so if I keep looking down it's because I'm looking at my notes just there. But today we're going to go ahead and look at 6 different games that we've picked out where it's really gone wrong for Reading. Now look, closing out games has been a big issue for us this season and losing games late on. So we're going to really focus on 6 times this season where that has cost Reading dearly. Now, if you look at throughout the last few seasons, Reading have really flirted with relegation. We've had positions of 20th twice, 14th, 21st, and then we had like an anomaly 7th place finish in there as well. But it really does look like for the first time since 2001-2002, Reading will be playing football in the 3rd tier of English football. Now, when you go into this season, Reading really were the favourites for relegation. We only had less than 11 players before a ball had even been kicked in pre-season. But after the Christmas games against Swansea, we were able to go as high as 8th after a 2-1 win. But you look at 2023 and that's where it's massively gone wrong for the Royals. Now, we've just won 2 games this season and only picked up 1 point away from home. And it looks as if 3rd tier football will be coming to RG2 for the first time since Alan Pardew was in charge. Now, like I said, throughout this video, we're going to go ahead and take a look back at where it's gone wrong for Reading. As, poor closing out games and vital defensive mistakes has cost us a potential 14 points in just these 6 fixtures alone. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the first game here as it came on the 18th of October 2022. Now, this game saw Swansea pick up a 3-2 win against Reading at the Liberty City Stadium. This was a game where Reading were 2-0 up inside 33 minutes thanks to goals from Tom Ince and Yaku Mete. But throughout the majority of the game we were under pressure and it really did pay off for Swansea. A 41st minute equaliser came from Harry Darling as he scored from a corner, which, just make a note of that was a cross. Oliver Cooper then equalised after half-time in the 60th minute for the Swans, and they then completed the comeback when Jay Fulton scored from 30 yards and saw all 3 points stay in Swansea. Now, look, when you're 2-0 up, away from home it's always going to be difficult, especially for Reading when we're such like a poor footballing team, but when you're 2-0 up, you should really be winning the game. And I think we should have really come away with something here. I think, look, we look back and we're like, okay, the game wasn't great. And you remember watching it on the telly. Unfortunately, I was watching it on the telly. And Reading were poor throughout the majority of the game. But that's how Swansea play. They keep possession. They make you look like you're a poor team. And they just pass it around. But, look, 2-0 up, I would like to have at least taken a point away from that game. It's key to note that a cross was scored and a long-range strike was scored there, alright? Just note that one down. The next game we're going to go ahead and take a look at is on the 29th of October 2022, as Reading lost 2-1 away at Burnley. Now look, this game isn't massively down to Reading's fault, but when you look at the positions we were in, I think maybe we could have still come away with something. Going into the game, Burnley were top of the league, they were 14 games unbeaten, but it was us that would actually take the lead, so we actually went 1-0 up at Turf Moor, and it was a big kick out from Joe Lumley that saw Yaku Mete flick the ball on and Tom Ince prod it past the Burnley goalkeeper. Burnley would eventually level the game, but it was a controversial moment from referee Jeremy Simpson that would cost us the most. A clear penalty for Reading was not given when Tom Ince was tripped up inside the box, and when it really does rain, it really does pour. Burnley would go on to score a 94th minute winner with a goal coming from a cross. Now the key thing to note again here was Burnley's first goal came from a long range strike and their winner in the 94th minute came from a cross. So that's once again 2 times this season now where a long range strike and a cross has cost Reading dearly. The next game we're going to look at is where Reading's downfall in form really did start to begin. It came on the 14th of January 2023 as Reading played QPR at the Select Carlison Stadium and we drew 2-2. Listen, Reading were 2-0 up at half-time in this game. Jeff Hendrick scoring both goals in what would actually be one of Reading's goals of the season. A 35 yard screamer where he's just smacked it into the bottom corner. And then one from about 2 yards out. I think Reading could have gone and extended their lead really. I think Shane Long could have scored as well. But it's cost Reading again. 2 goals in the second half from QPR. They made substitutions. They started to change things up. Tyler Roberts came on. And yeah, cost Reading dearly. QPR went ahead, made it 2-2, and that was it. Saw them take a point back to Loftus Road. Now, QPR are were one of Reading's relegation rivals going into the closing weeks of the season. And listen, if we had had 3 points gained on them and they would have had 0 points on that, I think it really could have been a big difference, especially where at one point we were only a point behind them, 2 points behind them. They could have been in the relegation zone, right? So I think this game is one of the things where I look back and I think that has cost Reading dearly, and that's 2 points really swung either way, which has cost us big time. The next game we're going to look at came on the 17th of February 2023, and it was when Reading lost away from home at the Cardiff City Stadium as we lost 1-0 to Cardiff. Now look, don't get me wrong, Reading were really poor in this game, and Cardiff did deserve to win it as well. But once again, it was a late goal that's cost Reading big time. Cardiff scored in the 91st minute, and this is the second time this season that we've conceded in the 90th minute to lose a point or points. It was the first home win for Cardiff in 111 days, and look, in my opinion, I think the game maybe could have gone a little bit different. I think the referee bottled it big time when McGuinness went studs up on Amadou Mbengu, and in my opinion, should have had a red card. Another goal was scored from outside the box as well. Romain Sawyers scoring a goal in the 91st minute. Listen, Cardiff were all over Reading. They hit the crossbar twice. They had numerous chances. Joe Lumley had one of his better games in a Reading shirt. But look, another outside the box goal has cost Reading once again. And yeah, it's just a constant, continuous cycle from where it's gone wrong this season. And it seems like Reading don't learn from their mistakes. The fifth game what we're going to look at came on the 10th of April 2023. And this was when Preston defeated Reading 2-1. Reading didn't play well again, but when we equalised in the 83rd minute from a long throw-in from Nesta Guinness-Walker, Kelvin Eheribatoman flicked the ball on over the Preston goalkeeper, and it went in the back of the net. And it was something that no one was really expecting to come away with a point from Deepdale. But the story of the season continued once again, as Reading weren't able to close a game out. And in the 92nd minute, Preston were able to score from a late corner, winning the original flick on and then scoring from another header once it was put back across goal. Look, it was another corner that's cost Reading, and it's another cross that's cost us once again. A 92nd minute goal as well. So that is now the Burnley game, that's now the Cardiff game, and that's now the Preston game, where it's cost us in the 90th minute. And it's just the story of the season. Listen, another point could have been gained, and it really could have been something that we could have just carried momentum. If we draw with Preston, do we go on to lose more games? Like, do you know what I mean? It's just a real big shame, really, that it's the same mistakes that keep happening, and we can't do anything about it. The last game that we're going to look at came on the 19th of April 2023 as Reading drew 1-1 with Luton. Now again, this is a good point, but at the same time, I come away from it feeling like a sense of we should have won the game. Now this game came away from the Paulins error, and Reading were unfortunately still making mistakes. We had a poor first half, but came out in the second half with red hot momentum. And the man behind it all was our big striker and veteran of the team, Andy Carroll. He went close from a cross, but then would score a corner just 6 minutes later after a front post one was swung in and he headed the ball in the back of the net. Just 5 minutes later, we thought we were in dreamland though, when Andy Carroll put the ball in the back of the net for the second time. But this time it wasn't with his head, it was with his hand. And he was able to get himself a second yellow card, subsequently getting himself sent off. Now this saw Carroll sent off and suspended for Reading's next 2 fixtures, where we were away at Coventry and at home to Wigan. And I think that's cost us big time. I think the presence of Andy Carroll alone is massive. And I think he is one of the better players in the team. We seem to play through Andy Carroll. And when we do, and when he's on form and when everyone's around them, it works. And I think under Noel Hunt, we didn't see massive amounts of Andy Carroll because obviously he played half a game and then 1 game, or half of 2 games really. But I think he worked under Noel Hunt. Look, with Andy Carroll getting sent off in that game, that caused Reading's momentum to stop. Luton get the momentum straight away. The team's down to 10 men. You're buzzing because you've not conceded that second goal. Luton get the momentum, and we stopped them from creating big chances, right? What happened? A cross came in, a mad scramble happens, and a real scrappy goal in the 81st minute was scored for Luton when Colton Morris put the ball in the back of the net. Luton didn't really create any chances, and I thought it was just a big lost opportunity for Reading, because I feel like we should have came away with the 3 points after the game, because we limited Luton big time in that second half. And look, we came away with a point, but it really could have been all 3. Now, that's 6 times this season where I've looked back and said, look, that's where it's really cost Reading big time. I've got honourable mentions as well, where it has happened as well to Reading. Like, it's ridiculous that there's so many games where I can sit here and go, how's this happen? You look at the Blackburn 2-1 loss away from home, where we conceded in the 82nd minute. You look at the QPR 2-1 loss away from home, where we conceded in the 84th minute, and that was a penalty. You look at Sunderland winning 1-0 against Reading. That was the 84th minute. Millwall coming to the Select Carlton Stadium and winning 1-0 with 1 shot on target, and that was from a penalty. And then this one was a little bit difficult to put in, but Bristol City won, Reading won. It was a last-minute counter-attack. We were 3-on-1. We slipped over the ball and lost it. So, you know, just them moments alone really have cost Reading big time. And when you go ahead and look at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games this season where we could have really had something different, I think it's cost us big time. And I think that's one of the reasons why we are going down. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Apologies if it's been a bit negative again. But look, I found this and I want to share it with you. So if you've enjoyed it, please click the like button. Don't forget to subscribe as well if you're new around here. My name's been James, and we'll see you all for the next video. Bye-bye.